wide players, if they can start moving the ball around a bit, even if that means over the other side of the field where we can't see them as well, then it's just going to make the competition and this match in particular that much more exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, with this afternoon game, you know, we normally have the 4:45 in the QAFLW, but hopefully should make for some slightly nicer conditions. It's about 22 degrees here as well, so not too hot. Now, let's chat team lists, Daniel. What can you let me know about ins and outs?
Sure, so look, both sides are actually looking fairly settled. For Coorparoo, they're two players that have left out, Jennifer Bacon and Sammy Nunn. Probably more reserve graders than seniors players at this point. No disrespect to either, they're very good players to have in reserve. But Aoife Clifford, this is her first year of Aussie rules, just come over from Ireland. She slots back into the side. She's been playing sort of a attacking midfielder, half-forward role so far this year. We'll see how she goes. And Jess Lavin, this is a wonderful story, another one in her first year of football. She has been, for the last few years, making Australian National Championship finals in the 100-metre freestyle. So for her to come from swimming, we've had people come from a lot of different sports over the QAFLW, not many National Championship level swimmers so far. So Jess Lavin will make her debut today. Just the one change for Morningside, Georgia Hewitt makes way. She's been playing in defence this year. And big defender Maddie Hennessy, who is very strong in the back five, she resumes her natural spot on the side.
Yeah, you're not wrong about the swimming one. That's a great point. I hadn't really thought about that. Especially, I feel like you get a lot of track athletes if you're going to be in those individual sports, more so track or similar, or, you know, cross-country even. But
we've got a few heptathletes, like
yep.
M. Keenan athlete, Taylor Smith, of course,
yep.
being the big one. But no, you're right. Okay, well, there's a pool of talent joke that I'm just tiptoeing around at the moment. But no, we need to recruit more from swimming, so let's get out to Chandler on our Thursday.
Yeah, why not? So Morningside, they are undefeated, but I guess they haven't really had their biggest test against Southport this season. This one, though, against the Kings, though, I think this will be a good precursor test in itself.
Absolutely, because the Kings historically have always been a very physical side. Southport, as we know, bring the physicality. The other thing these two sides do really well is plays not far away from getting underway, is they attack the ball hard. You hardly ever see a ball kicked to a stationary target. I realise I just cursed the teams there by saying that out loud.
Hopefully not.
But you will see the way they both charge onto the ball, and facing another team that does that as well as they do will be good practice for facing even Bond University, but particularly the Great White Sharks.
So not long now until the first bounce of this game, round 5 of the Bond University QAFLW. Feels good, though, that it's shaping up to be a season that looks a little bit different to the last two. These new additions to the comp just make it that extra bit more exciting. It's been great to have them.
So it changes the shape of the competition, because with a final 6 and a 10-team comp, it means you do have a bit of a luxury of just taking a little bit of extra time to get your combinations right, and then you can hit the final series hard. It's sunny, it's dry overhead, a bit wet underfoot, and there is wind. Tyler Hickson will get us underway. Round 5 of the Bond University QAFLW. Renee tees for Coorparoo, the informed ruck of the competition. Puts Teresa Dixon on her backside. That hasn't happened too often of late. Pushing in the contest. Free kick goes to Grace Roberts-White.
Loving that, setting the tone early. The physicality already present in this one.
Goes straight up the middle. Lunsden was free wide. Doesn't make it inside 50. Turned around by Greta Lilcock. And well cut off by McDonald. That's that attack in the football we were talking about. Charlotte Howard. In fact, that was Simone Arthur, apologies. Lilcock chasing through, getting there ahead of Mia Teubler. Not coming out of there. Izzy Levine in number 10, nearest the camera. I think she got a shock when she realised she was leading the competition for both clearances and contested possessions when those results were published on social media earlier in the week. But it's an increasingly famous ribbon in the Bond University QAFLW. Dixon getting the better of the tap, but there hasn't been a really strong ruck contest yet. Clancy Dillon in a wrestling contest. Roly-poly roll.
No, both sides are just struggling to get that release out of the clearance.
Dixon with a good tap to Lilcock. Charged down partially by Lunsden. Inside 50. and then kicked out. This will be interesting to see if it was deliberate. Not called that, and quite rightly so. Just a throw-in.
Yeah, Lilcock just left for a 2v1, one to Morningside, so I'd love to see a bit more support from her side, just a bit of shepherding.
Difficult day for the boundary umpires as well, trying to throw the ball into the wind. As I say, the wind is blowing a gale back towards us. Strong tackle on Clancy Dillon brought to ground, but again, this is our fifth ball up in a row in the left half forward for Coorparoo.
Yeah, it's a very hard ball to be won.
But Dixon again releasing Lilcock on the outside. Didn't quite get a clean bounce. Creates space for herself. Left foot kick inside and cut off, not for the last time today, by the captain, Arla Federhugic. It's become a very familiar booming kick. Janae Govern's on the field early. Gets around McCormick in the pink headgear. Looking for Chesterfield.
Fantastic use of the wing that was. How quickly has that come down pretty much half the field. Lovely structure so far from Coorparoo.
They're both very well structured sides. Ben McKenzie and Damien Richards. Levine looking for another clearance. Clancy Dillon drives her into the turf. Called dangerous by Jason Mitchell, so Levine has the free kick. Clancy Dillon looking slightly perturbed on the mark.
Yeah, I think tough call. It was a great tackle. Sometimes it's hard because you want to bring them down to win the ball, but it's a fine line. If you do it obviously too hard, then it does become dangerous. So I feel for the players out there. It's a tricky one and tricky to officiate as well.
Less tricky to officiate was that bump on Emma McNaughton. She'll have, after she scored a bag for Astley here on this ground in the final round of last year and got overshadowed by Emma Zilke and Sally Young's final games at home. Goes all the way through to McDonald. McDonald, she loves that pocket. Opens the scoring, but only in a small way. Scored in every round so far this year, Courtney McDonald. I think she's enjoyed the new lease of life on the east side of Brisbane.
Sounds like it.
And of course a perfect record as captain as well.
It is as well. Now it's been a great start to the season for Morningside.
Federhugic just through the hands of Tees, forward to Gall. Had a bit of space in front of her, and the ball floated all the way through to Govan. Govan just tried to knock it back inside to a teammate, but it was cut off in three different ways, mainly by Kylie Lawrence, who won a premiership at this club a while back. Levine had it stripped from her hands by Federhugic. Ball up on the front of the square. There's just a hint of a rainbow in the background.
I was just thinking that, Daniel.
See, I can notice pretty things too, Hannah Davies.
It's certainly not rainbows and smiles out there, though. The contest has been very physical so far.
Lunson's kick. Chu, not the strongest handball, and then holding off the ball. Morningside definitely with the better of the opening few minutes. Rasheen Chu hits up Ali Blyton. She's had a good start to the year. Very strong winger. Deep inside 50, using the wing. Just went through the hands of Fredwell. Loose ball near the goal square. McNaughton wrapped up well by Goodwin.
Great placement for that ball delivery, though. Just putting it right outside the square.
Keeping an eye on Ali Blyton this year. I've liked what I've seen so far. And a bigger winger than you normally get. Teubler tackled off the ball. Turn around by Wynne Stanley. Strong tackle on Bellinger. She hit the ground hard, and I don't think Federhugic was sledging her. It just looked like it as she was on the ground. Just had the mouth over the ear hole. Good photo for a cartoonist to put a caption on, I feel.
Very.
Out of bounds.
So Morningside making great use of that first phase, but I feel like it's that second and third, Daniel, where they're not getting as much support. They're winning in numbers on that first clearance, but it's just fading off a little bit.
Good pickup. We'll see how they cope now, because defensive structures are one thing, but attacking structures are just as important. Well taken, didn't go 15. Taken by McNaughton. Fretwell is paid the mark and copped a bit of a hand over the shoulder. That was courtesy of McKinless.
As that ball rolls out, it's actually just starting to rain a little bit. Very, very lightly. And that wind is certainly picking up as well.
If the light rain stays, it won't make the ball stop on the ground, but it will make it skid.
Yeah, you'd want to get an early major in, wouldn't you, just knowing that these conditions could worsen.
Well, the inside 50 counts, I think, is whatever it is to 0 at the moment, as Govan has to track a long way back. Chesterfield's the furthest player forward, and she's still on her own side of halfway as she comes to the shot now. Over near the boundary is well tracked. Just a boundary throw-in. So you will start seeing a few spots on the camera lens.
Yep,
you
that's
don't just put them there for effect.
the rain and the wind. It's coming straight at our heads. Want to give you the full immersive experience from home.
I feel like I'm standing in a crow's nest here. It's wonderful. No meaningful possessions until Coorparoo just able to get it to the front of their own square. McCormick chasing hard, got it on the shin. That'll do it on a day like today. Excellent chase from Clifford, and that'll be called a lasso, and that can be put down to the pressure applied by Aoife Clifford, who was running fast, although she possibly also was blown this way. Zina Federhugic, back from playing for South Fremantle in the Perth competition. Roberts White working hard. Riley, kicked in hope down the throat of Chu to the other end of the rainbow. Chu keeps it wide from the back. Bellinger, McDonald attacked it hard. And then just shows Lunson, a former clubmate at Yeronga, over the boundary. And then puts the reassuring hand on the back.
Gotta love that.
She's almost too caring, Courtney McDonald.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, take that, and how are you? Georgia Lewin taking her turn in the ruck. Underneath Clifford. Through Lunson to Roberts White. Goes to the contest, was looking for Millen. Yet another ex-Yeronga player. There's a few of them on both sides here today. And then escorted over the boundary by Mackenzie Sleep in the number 30 jersey.
Pretty nice defensive pressure from both sides. Neither team really able to get clean hands to it.
You can be wearing gloves with razor blades on them and you'd still struggle to get clean hands on a day like today with the wind and now a bit of wet weather as well. What it is, though, is fun, if not photogenic. Dixon just getting the better of the rucks. Laura Roy, who probably is vying with Steph O'Brien for the best player in the comp this season. They're sharing the lead of the coaches' votes, but I think most judges would have those two on top. Lil Cock, the punch from Goodwin over the back of McDonald. Laura Roy stuck through. Clifford getting involved early. Got it out to Zielinski. Did well to get a second hand to the ball. Aleph Federhugic tackled off. Laura Roy with a tackle on. Ball up. We're going to have to wait for the players to get tired before there's any space. We could have 2 quarters of attrition before eventually one gets worn out.
I think that just shows you how evenly matched they're looking right now. Because neither side really standing out from one another.
Dixon with the tap. Lilcock getting involved early, but they've learned to shut her down quickly. Tease again. Ball squirted out like toothpaste over the top, and then will be a boundary throw-in. Harding off Clancy Dillon on. Just changing the French braids. There's a good example of how slippery the ball is. Tease had that in the breadbasket and still find a way to slip out. Likewise, Teubler. Lil Cock, brilliant charge down. Might have been Lunson, it was. Put the hands up and took the full brunt of that kick.
It's going to hurt tomorrow.
I think it'll hurt in the second quarter. Blyton got a bit of a run, just fell back to Lunson. And able to be held on by Millen.
So again, Morningside, fantastic rucking, and they're getting the clearance out. It's just that third phase where there's just no option.
Well, just to pick up on your point, Hannah, if you look now, there's players in front of and behind the ball. There was literally no one laterally on either side, which I think speaks to the point you just made. Gracie Roy.
Stayed in, but pretty much every player decided they didn't want to go for that. And it's been called the lasso. Yep. Good call.
Yeah, it was almost like she was going for a 40-20 in another sport.
Yeah, no, I think that's ump is saying, so I think we've got the boundary ump saying someone's touched it, but Tyler Hickson, I think, overruled that and said lasso, and yeah, agreed. No one went for that ball.
Good communication between the umpires, though.
Yeah,
they
it was.
do train that way. Just at the feet of Teubler, being chased through by Millen. Over it was Levine. Lealcock again, been very involved. Probably the most involved player on the ground. She just had no space to work in.
So just the one
sorry.
One minor on the scoreboard so far. Ball stays in.
Teubler with the left foot. Got it through the goal, immediately besieged upon by her opposite number, McCormick. Clancy Dillon. Again. Just ran into space, ended up with Laura Roy, who's being shut down. Coorparoo done their homework, they know what she can do. That was Lavin in the ruck. Through to Clifford. As Teubler gave the most unusual symbol for I don't want it. Clancy Dillon quite rightly played the whistle as the Morningside bench, but very helpful to the umpire, I feel. "13 minutes gone." As Hannah said, Charlotte Howard, first game against their old club. Probably a bit emotional for Charlotte, actually. She spent a lot of years here, did her ACL here a few years ago, did her rehab here, and then, for various reasons, felt she'd be better off going to Morningside. Laura Roy turned through the middle. He's down in back play. Just hitting the deck was Carly Hess. In the back play, Lucy McCormick has delighted in pushing Carly Hess to the ground twice for no particular reason other than to play alpha.
Yeah, I'm not sure I'd be grinning the way they are if that was happening.
Georgia Lewin with the tap, went sideways. Levine got the ball loose. Strong tackle from Hess, and thought she was away. Well, again, was almost cut off by Fretwell. Laura Roy got the kick away. They're inside 50. McKinless hits the deck after getting to the ball first. It's not a pretty game, but it's an arm wrestle.
It is. Something interesting to note is just how frequently Morningside are using their bench. Certainly a lot more than Coorparoo. It's just interesting that different strategy that the Panthers are using.
Yeah, put a time check on that for the third and fourth quarter just to see how it plays out there. Winstanley was in Victoria last year. Before that, won a reserve grade premiership with Southport. Deep inside 50. Goodwin on her bike. Was able to get away from former clubmate Bellinger. The handball to Fretwell didn't meet clean hands. Winstanley again. Had to go aerial route with the handball. Not entirely sure what kick that was from Sienna Graham, but it would look good. Well, it's Morningside's quarter, but you wouldn't know it from the scoreboard.
You wouldn't. I think, yeah, they've been able to keep it in their 50 a lot more often, but it doesn't feel like they're quite in control of it. And I think it's just that defensive pressure from Coorparoo. Every ball, they're straight to it. Trying to at least win that numbers game.
The free kick's gone to Bellinger in the pocket. She's a good set shot, but she'll be kicking into a strong breeze. Goes for goal. That's brilliant. With the wind, with the state of the match, one opportunity presents itself for Lucy Bellinger, and she takes it strongly.
Such a nice little snap that was. Just perfectly placed. Didn't overcook it. And I think yeah, as we said, the rain seems to be clearing a little bit as the most incredible rainbow is across the field. I don't think I've ever commentated a game with a rainbow quite like this in this placement. Like, this is sensational. I'm not sure how much you can capture of it on the camera. It's almost a little bit distracting.
You did point out one at the end of the 2023 grand final out at Springfield. There was a beautiful rainbow in the background that day in the sun shower.
Wow, your memory scares me sometimes, Daniel. I don't remember that at all, but no, it's fantastic. And it actually is reminding me of like how well they do Pride Round here at Coorparoo, that rainbow. I can't help but think about that as well. It's even a double rainbow now. All right, I need to shut up about this rainbow.
If the play was end-to-end, I would have cut you off ages ago, but while it's stop-start and the two teams are battling for midfield supremacy, I think rainbows are an acceptable topic of conversation. Roberts White just got a fist to the ball. Good bump off from Graham. Clancy Dillon working well in the middle of the pack. Just got it kicked away from her. Howard hands over the ball. Levine ran into trouble and not paid as they... Caitlin Zielinski fan club got into action. Lawrence handballs to Gracie Roy. Finds a bit of space. Technically her left foot's her weaker one, but you wouldn't know it. Federhuggett from the back of the contest. Mark not paid, correct decision. Keeps up the right-hand side, looking for tees. Gets it eventually off the hands of McCormick. Couldn't find space. Gracie Roy and Simone Arthur put the double tackle on her beautifully.
Great teamwork as well to have both just backing each other up. As the siren sounds to end the first term, and it's Morningside lead 117 to Coorparoo, yet to hit the scoreboard. We'll be back after the break for the second term.
Oh, yeah. No. He's basically just spoiled for me chapter 4 of the autobiography.
Welcome back to a wet and windy clash between the Morningside Panthers and the Coorparoo Kings at Giffen Park in round 5 of the Bond University QAFLW. We're just adjusting to these conditions as commentators as quickly as we can, as the players also adapt to them. It's 7-0 to the Panthers. About to get underway, second quarter.
Thank you, Hannah. We'll get news from around the AFL Queensland world very shortly. But right now, Morningside, well, if you freeze the scoreboard now, their perfect record's intact.
Look, it's a pretty good advantage, the one goal for the first quarter, given that, as we suspected, these conditions are going to decrease. But we have seen that the Kings can play pretty well in wet conditions.
The other thing worth noting is, whereas the wind was blowing mostly towards us in the first quarter, I'm not sure how well the rain is showing up on camera, but it's definitely blowing to your left.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
And so that gives Coorparoo an advantage that maybe they weren't expecting, and makes Morningside feel slightly miffed, particularly as the rain is now blowing back towards their home ground. But it is Morningside on the attack at the moment, albeit slowly. It's more American football style at the moment, just gaining yardage.
So we've seen Coorparoo perform in wet conditions, really just try and clear the ball as far as possible and really play that scrappy, I guess, mongrel footy.
Play for territory.
Yeah, that's it. So it'll be interesting to see if they adopt a similar play here.
Well, I think both teams have tried, but what both teams have done really well, I don't think we keep charge downs as a stat. We keep spoils as a stat. But quite a few charge downs in one quarter of football. See, there's an attempt to move it wide, and it was Schneider who got onto it. Got it to Zielinski. Moving forward, looking for Hess. Comes off the shins. Gracie Roy. Good tackle from Hess. Carly Hess take a bow.
Yeah, that was just fantastic. Great technique as well. Like, as we said before, it can be so easy to go across that line and enforce a dangerous tackle, but just kept it really nicely in control.
Agreed. More on Carly Hess in a moment, as Gracie Roy made up for that error by taking the next intercept mark. Switches the play, so she's looking for space, goes way over the head of Hennessy. I think may have made her first grade debut on this ground back in a Pride round of 2023 when she was playing for Maroochydore. They now move it up the left-hand side. Mark not held on to by Chu. Was able to get a handball away. Gall with the turnover. And it's strong work on the ground from Lunson just to hold up the play. Blyton flicks it back, found Lawrence. Lawrence back into a contest. All the way through to McDonald, sliding through his Feta Huggage as the captains collide. Over the shoulder from Schneider, hits the ground.
Yeah, already a few balls just slip through the hands as that rain keeps coming down.
Simone Arthur. I don't know if CrossFit has any wet weather, but if there is, she's prepared for it. Good on Jason Mitchell, the umpire, for trying to let that play itself out. Didn't end up working, but I don't mind him giving the players a bit more of a chance.
No, I would agree, especially with how evenly matched these two sides are looking right now.
Tees at the back of the contest. Tried to release Roberts White, but ball slipped out of her hand. Roberts White got it anyway. Pumped it up the right-hand side. Lands in space. Cleaned up by Lawrence at halfback. Superb work from the veteran. Inside to Lilcock. She's LBW. Has time to recover. Got around Tees. Lilcock's been forced onto her left foot a lot today. She's probably had more left foot kicks than right foot kicks today. And McKinless wasn't able to get a free kick away, so...
Daniel, I don't know if you've seen in the AFL, but there's a player who knows every player and what brand of shoe they wear. Why do I feel like that would be you in this competition?
I'm flattered, but possibly slightly out of my depth.
I don't think so, though.
I appreciate it. But we're both here because we love the Bond University QAFLW. And we love what these players bring us every week. Lucy McCormick did everything right until the kick and still got it back. Second opportunity worked a lot better than the first one. And then goes out of bounds ahead of Roberts White. She'll get the free kick.
Neither side really wanting to go down the corridor at all this game. Both really taking it out to the wings wherever possible.
Because if you play on the wing and are able to get an advantage, then you've got the whole field open to switch into, which is what Coorparoo are trying to do now. They're able to clear the defence, Govan not able to take the mark, and that's no disgrace. Again gets a second opportunity. Deep inside 50, looking for Chesterfield in the pocket. Chesterfield gets a little space. That was superb defence. Regathers inside, trying to maintain the opportunity. Strong tackle. Was there prior opportunity? Doesn't matter because it fell forward anyway. McCormick with the tackle, and a superb passage of play from the Kings. Loose ball, Morningside's done enough, able to be cleared, and that was by Gracie Roy. Finds the boundary ahead of Ali Blyton, just outside the 50. 2 metres shorter, and that kick would have been perfect. Through hands, still hugging the boundary. Attacked hard by Rasheen Chu. She did superbly to keep that in play. Off the leg of Lunson, Blyton through the legs, Lunson again. Inside from Clancy Dillon. Lands in space. Superbly chased by Schneider. Didn't get the kick she wanted. Falls to some kind of advantage. Punched away from goal. Clancy Dillon couldn't get space. The tackle from Levine was strong. She was tackled without the ball. Morningside get out of trouble. Izzy Levine standing strong.
Yeah, that was a lucky one. Kings just creeping closer and closer to that square. Just didn't have an option out the back door. It would have been great to see someone just sitting there with the hands ready to go.
Lunson did well. Back to Levine. She got something resembling a handball away. Blyton hits the deck under pressure. Knocked forward. Carly Hess chasing through. Enough to get a shot away. Goes vertical. Govan getting underneath it. Off Chesterfield and McCormick. Stays inside the boundary. Interesting decision coming up here from Hickson. Decides just on the ball up. There's a few people who failed English walk beneath the commentary box. Shot away. So Coorparoo's on the board. Might have been Govan who was just able to get a leg to the ball in the middle of the pack. I'm not sure if you got a better view of that, Hannah.
I didn't. I was a bit distracted by some of the physicality going on off the ball, actually.
Given you're doing special comments, that's what you should have been watching. I shouldn't have palmed off my responsibilities to you. Comes back to Zielinski. Zinafeta Hugic. As Harding, I think, is pulled to ground. Strong tackle from Milcock. Tees rode that well. Clancy Dillon. Been growing week by week in this competition. Has played state leagues all around Australia. Good tackle. Emily Harding earns the free kick on Carly Lawrence. Harding will keep it in the pocket. Was looking for Chesterfield. May come back to her. Hennessy guides her over the paint. Still very bunched. Not a lot of options either side of the flight of the ball. As Georgia Lewin stood very strong and then got it up to Emma McNaughton, who's come deep.
Decided to play on. Probably should have just settled on that one.
I think you're right. As Zielinski brought some soccer skills into the equation and brought to ground.
Not too often you would see someone play on like that as well in the defensive 50.
Harding. That was well attacked by Gracie Roy from defence. Superbly done. Lands in space. Goes past Schneider. A little bit of luck, but they may make it count Morningside. Important touch from Mia Teubler from Courtney McDonald's kick. McDonald chasing it through, but there's now three Kings around her.
Yeah, Schneider threw the hands up. I think she actually was tripped by her own teammate just then.
There was a bit of friendly fire, I think you're right. Renee Tees tries to knock it forward 3 times. Janae Govan had it slapped into her forearm. Didn't quite work.
It's a holding
Free
call.
kick go to Morning. Sorry, Hannah. Similar story to the first quarter in that the team defending the northern end, in this case Morningside, is doing enough. Charlotte Howard playing deep, may have put her teammate in trouble and has the turnover. Chanel Fletcher on first grade debut. Giving away the free. Rasheen Chu. Every time the ball's found Chu today, she's been impressive. won a few free kicks, caused some turnovers, and then her good work is undone by someone else. Back inside to Clifford. Oh, below the knees. That's a dangerous tackle. Coorparoo will continue.
Unfortunate that it was low, though. I think she would have gotten the holding the ball call if it was just a little bit higher.
On rugby league, she probably would have got a B contract.
Yeah, probably. Not wrong there.
A wonderful world, but a different world. Well charged down. Sleep. Comes all the way back to, well, it was Laura Roy on the right foot. Kicked it away, however. Might have been touched in flight. Over the head of McCormick, off Govan, Roberts-White. Kicked it down to Sleep, who there is no way that was 15 metres, but whatever. 15.01. Sleep with the left foot. That'll be lucky to stay in the field of play. I think the wind helps bring it back towards us. Was knocked back inside twice by Winstanley, then coughed up. Teubler from the back of the contest. Again, the number of times that the ball's been ejected from a mass on the ground, almost like the middle of a fountain.
And you can really tell, though, because the umps are... Oh, sorry, we just had a call made here.
Blood rule.
Blood rule. Oh, while that's happening, no, I've lost my train of thought.
That's okay. It's Rasheen Chu who's coming off the field. I thought there might have been a 50 there as well, but just blood. If you know where Hannah's train of thought went, please contact AFL Queensland.
And that is a lot of blood streaming down from near the eye for Chu. So she'll have to get that patched up pretty quickly. Try and keep an eye on that one. Looks okay otherwise, though.
Hopefully it's just a patch-up job. There's McKinless fighting hard on the ground. Stolen by Teubler. Tried to get it back. In turn, stolen by Winstanley. And a good addition, Winstanley. Played for Golden Square down in Victoria last year. The volley from the pack came from Millen. Chases it through. Clearly volleys work. Inside 50, well positioned was McCormick. She goes straight back into the traffic and it should be turned over to Teubler. Both of whom have played for UQ in previous incarnations. And stolen by Winstanley. It's good teamwork on the ground. She comes wide. Howard chasing. Schneider in front position. McDonald running a balk line. Squeezed out. Keeps hitting limbs. But the back of them. Just Lavin back on the field. Teresa Dixon back in the ruck. Tees tackled strongly, was held onto by Simone Arthur for a while. And we're back in this situation where it looks like the teams have cloned each other and put themselves in the other jerseys. It's like in a video game where you match up all the settings. Just me?
Yeah,
Okay.
it does. I see what you're saying.
Thank you.
It does. It sort of broke free for a little bit for the Kings, and then I think Morningside came back into the action.
And most distressingly, the rainbow's gone. Well taken by Lewin. Goes inside 50, looking for a captain, and well reeled in. Well, I thought, in fact, it has been called. Not happy with that.
Great call, though, and great hands from McDonald. Just held that beautifully. The timing of her release back was fantastic. So she'll have to launch this inside. I wouldn't quite think she'll have the distance from this one.
And again, the win may be against her, but didn't hurt Bellinger in the first quarter. She's played the smart play. Was looking for the run of Hennessy, who had come a long way forward. And then Tees did very well behind the play. Teubler gets there ahead of Blyton. And then uses the run ahead of her. I think that's Roberts-White. No, wrong colour boots.
Laura Roy just really copping it today. She went down hard then. Clearly there's been some words, put a target on her. She's had a fantastic season, so you can see why.
And as we noticed in that round one game we commentated up at Moreton Bay, the way she distributes the ball has improved a lot this year. Probably a little bit too guilty last year of just kicking down the line too much, as that's, yes, another intercept mark. There's going to be a lot of intercept mark stats today. That one by Feta Hugic, who for the last 2 years has been the leading intercept marker. And in the Bond University QAFLW. She keeps it wide. And well taken behind the pack by, I think, Chesterfield. It was. Towards the 50. And the wind is definitely blowing to our left because the wind caught hold of that, and twice it looked like it was going to bounce. It didn't. Howard has gone into the fence. She'll clear, looking for Winstanley. Has McNaughton for help. Zenefeta-Hugic was on her straight away. McNaughton shows the value of good support play. She'll keep it wide. Isla Feta-Hugic, who, much like Elphaba, says, "You killed my sister," and then kicks it out on the full. That's why her boots are green.
Just while that's been happening, Chu has swapped jerseys, so she's in number 57 now, and she's got a head wrap on. So obviously there was no concussion concerns, you could only assume, so good news on that front. And she's come straight into the action, so number 57 now.
Hit the chest of Levine. Again to the contest, Lewin was looking for it, just had McNaughton come from behind, and maybe they could have communicated a bit. Came off Zenefeta-Hugic, went through to Isla. Somehow she got boot to ball. Very clever. Chu almost got a second touch. Knocked up off the ground by, I think, Dixon. It wasn't, it was Lilcock. Clancy Dillon chasing hard. Well done by Tiffany O'Keefe, who's done a lot of her work unnoticed in defence of Morningside this year, but she's been a very important cog. Lewin doesn't drop many marks, dropped one there because the ball is a little soap-like. Zenefeta-Hugic brought to ground, wins the free kick for a dangerous tackle.
And the other Feta-Hugic, number 15, just got up from the ground a little bit gingerly before. Just keep an eye on that one.
Thank you.
Checking out the hands. Maybe just a jarred finger.
Which is not fun.
No,
in one
not
sense,
at all.
glad it's only a jarred finger. In the other sense, I'm remembering jarred fingers of years past, and I'm not someone with a high pain threshold. Yeah, that's a bit dangerous. Not deliberate. I think Lilcock was just going for the ball and overbalanced. Comes back to Teubler. 17 minutes elapsed in this quarter. We've not had a goal, so the amount of time on is expected to be minimal. And again, just the Morningside defenders not communicating. They'll be saved by the buzzer. Morningside 1-1-7. Their lone goal to Lucy Bellinger late in the first quarter. Coorparoo just the one behind. Thank you very much wherever you're watching from for your company. This is Bond University QAFLW action, round 5. Coorparoo versus Morningside, live from Giffen Park.
Welcome back for the second half of a round 5 clash of the Bond University QAFLW. The Morningside Panthers still leading 1-1-7 to Coorparoo Kings 0-1-1. The only goal scorer of today, and what a goal it was, Lucy Bellinger. If you're going to have one goal, it may as well be a cracker one, and it was. The snap around the right. Conditions though, well, it's been raining on and off. We've sort of been trying to hide from it in the commentary box, but it's pretty impossible. So, you know, if the players have to play in it, I guess it's only fair that the commentators are also in the rain as well, Daniel.
Every old school commentator will look at you without respect unless you've commentated a few games basically on something that's falling down in the rain, preferably while people are throwing things at you as well. We're earning our money today, but even though it's low scoring, the game's been intense, and fitness becomes a big factor in the second half to see who can maintain that intensity, or whether one team just gets a little slither of an edge at one point and maybe the score could even blow out and become not a fair reflection of what we've seen so far.
Completely. There's been some pretty fantastic matchups so far. The biggest one I wanted to talk about is Isla Federhugic against Courtney McDonald. Courtney's had a bit of an impact in the game. She's made some really nice marks, but you know, Federhugic is doing a cracker job really trying to nullify her. The two captains going head-to-head, like, doesn't get much better than that.
Completely agree. Federhugic, in most one-on-one contests in this competition, she's the better marker. Courtney McDonald is someone who is at least her match. McDonald is able to mark the ball when she's tied up like a pretzel, and to do that when she's got a physical disadvantage against Federhugic, but she does have, well, neither of them are slow, but she's slightly faster. Completely agree. You can make a nice little highlights package just out of the captaincy duel.
Absolutely, and they've really, Coorparoo, done a great effort to take Laura Roy not quite out of the contest. I think that's maybe too difficult of a task, but every time she gets in and around the ball, there is someone there ready to do their best to tackle her.
What they've done is they've taken away her option of the 45 kick. They've pushed her into any time she gets the ball, she pretty much has to go down the line to a contest. And so while they haven't taken her out of the game, they have severely curtailed her options.
And we're nearly underway now for the second half. There's plenty happening in Queensland footy. We've got the Queensland Wheelchair League that got underway last weekend with Mount Gravatt joining the comp for the first time. The AMP SEQ and Conclusion League also returned today with Redcliffe joining the comp for the first time as well. And of course, AFLW Season 10 is fast approaching. I'm personally very, very excited for that one. That'll be fantastic. And, you know, these players out here, well, the timing of the two leagues could mean that we do see some QAFLW players heading into that league.
There's always opportunities with injuries. As Greta Lilcock beautifully stole the ball away, and then it was cut off by Isla Federhugic, who wore a ball flush in the shin and then walks away, just rubbing her leg slightly, going, yeah, that's going to be a little bit discolouring.
I think she's going to be sore tomorrow. There's been a couple times where she's copped it, but again, like the timing of that, her impact is, her physical presence is what it is, isn't it?
There's a presence in many ways, and a lawyer by profession, so there are many ways in which you should not take Isla Federhugic on. Levine found a bit of space in the contest, goes inside 50. Looks to be cut off well by Teubler. Got there ahead of Laura Roy. And you can see the effect of the rain. Beautiful one-handed pick-up from Zielinski. Took a lot of bravery in the conditions. Comes up the line towards Govan. Just slips out of her hands. Off the chest of Gracie Roy. Carly Hess just takes it over the boundary. Just wanted to mention with Carly Hess before, last year played for the North Shore Jets, just up on the north coast of Queensland. The year before that, the Edinburgh Bloods.
There you go.
She is a Southeast Queenslander, but she has, I think she studied in Canada, but she's also played Aussie rules in Scotland.
Oh, what an experience that would be. I can't even fathom how cold as well.
Yes, so quit your whinging, Davies. Right on cue. Hess with the ball on the right wing. Harding directing traffic in front of her. Looked for a lead. McCormick came from behind the contest. Govan will get an opportunity now. Kicks over the shoulder. One-on-one contest. Wasn't quite able to be brought down by Chesterfield. Hacked deep inside 50. O'Keefe was quickest to react. Doesn't have a lot of time, and the kick is aerial. Govan underneath it. McCormick affects the kick. Coming back was Chu with the Crimean Warlock. Came out to Riley. Riley snaps. Needed a better bounce than that. Good territory. Fourth game at this level for Jess Riley. No goals yet. The evidence is that she's capable. And slippery ball into the wind. Taking it again? We are. No disgrace in that. Haven't had a goal at the southern end of the field yet in this match. Coorparoo 1,500 goals in this competition. Haven't been able to add to it today. Dixon had front position. Socket goes, hits the post. Gap reduced to 5. And in the wet this year, Coorparoo's made a bit of a habit of, we don't care how ugly the goal is, we just want the 6 points.
No, you're right. Nearly paid off there.
Tiffany O'Keefe runs 30 metres, which of course you can do from a kick in.
Fantastic mark there. Just positioned herself so nicely.
Sorry, Hannah. Yeah, Mia Toibler's been doing that for a while. It was the ruck for UQ when they won their first premiership in 2021. Then did an ACL as Hennessy gets the ball back up to McNaughton, who has to play deep. Out of bounds, Lasso free kick to Renee Tees. Arguably the number one ruck in the competition so far this year. Certainly killing it in the hit-out stats, which is not the sole measure of a ruck's worth. Good work from McNaughton, who's playing almost as an extra midfielder at the moment. Maybe she has been moved on the ball. Either way, it's effective. It's been a game of brutal defence. The iSports stats will be published on the AFLQ website, play.afl/Queensland. It's Feta Hugic. Another intercept. McCormick over the back to Govan. Tried to get a handball to Chesterfield. Knocks it forward to herself. Creates a bit of space. Chesterfield over the defence. Chelsea Chesterfield!
Oh, they're very excited about that one. Even the water carriers just celebrating as they ran onto the field. And just like that, Coorparoo have taken the lead. 8-7 now. So Coorparoo just displaying that they know how to play wet weather footy. Haven't won the game yet. He's very excited.
Life's too short. Get your celebrations where you can.
Probably wet enough out there too. Don't know if they need that.
If someone needs water in a moment, his bottle's empty. That's a fine, at the least. But Coorparoo now with a 1 point lead. They haven't led in this match.
No, and Daniel, I was saying off air before that. So I'll just wait for this call.
Off the ball, the outer zone umpire, and Tyler Higson picks out a free kick for Izzy Levine. We'll get back to you in a moment, Hannah. Clears the contest. Morningside, they wanted to get this next set of clearance. Goodwin found Roberts White. Out towards Laura Roy, was off the chain briefly. Holding free kick as the reaction of the Coorparoo bench changed dramatically. It's not often you see a group of people make two sounds in unison like that.
Yeah, and I was saying that, you know, the body language between these two sides was looking very different as they went into half-time. I felt like Morningside looked very comfortable, very relaxed. It did, you know, feel like they had a fair bit of control over the game, but Coorparoo, on the other hand, were completely locked in, and you can really sense that now. And it does really appear like they're just going to keep trying to use this momentum that they've got going.
Clifford behind the contest. Good points, Hannah. I'll build on that in a moment. Inside to win Stanley. Chased down by Toibler, who's been excellent today. Behind Zielinski. Schneider using her pace. 30 years old and would still be one of the top few players in the competition for speed. Free kick has gone to Coorparoo for the late tackle. As Schneider just gets up a little gingerly, but she's okay. But of course, neither of those approaches is necessarily better than the other, Hannah. We've seen in the past as Tees takes a good mark left of the square.
No, you're right. It's not really a reflection of their attitude. It's more so, I think, a mindset and a cultural thing. You know, you mentioned we've seen it in, you know, the battle of the coast. So the Sharks and Southport Sharks, that is, and Bond Uni, two sides that are, you know, premiership sides in their own rights, but very different mindsets coming in. So yeah, it's certainly interesting. It does always worry me though when a side is up and about like Coorparoo are right now.
And I'll just interrupt you to pay tribute to that magnificent tackle from Izzy Levine. But you're right, Hannah, it's about how a team gets the best out of themselves. And whatever that is, as long as it's within ethical boundaries, and we're not even getting close to that with what we're talking about now. Viva la différence. Mark dropped inside 50 for Levine's long kick. And limbs were going in some dangerous directions there. I was surprised that Lucy Bellinger and Arla Huggage didn't end up with each other's limbs attached to them there for a moment. Volley off the ground. Goes goal side. Teubler got involved. The volley is back in fashion. There's been 3 or 4 very good ones today. Tees did well against Bellinger. Hits the deck. Bellinger following through. It'll only be a ball up, but her willingness to attack the ball was notable. Coorparoo first to the ball, through the legs of Tees, scooped out on a different day. Umpire might have seen it differently. Well attacked by Roy. Brought down from behind, was just able to dispose. Teubler is in good position again. She's done well just being one step away from the ruck. O'Keefe came high. Chips across over the head of Lewin. Probably not what was intended. Harding coming through the other way. Flicked up well by Gracie Roy. Out towards Howard. Doesn't get a kind bounce. Gets about 4 unkind ones. Pushed over by Riley. Off the boot. They're looking for a lasso free kick. It has been called as such. The first War of Wynnum Road is currently a 1-point margin. Jasmine Fretwell. 2.5 kilometres exists between the centre circle here and the centre circle of Jack Esplanade Oval. Over the shoulder. Free kick goes to the Panthers. The arm went up the wrong way. Free kick goes to the Kings through Clifford. Feta Huggage, the elder. Looking for Tees. Knocked back when Stanley was well positioned, as was Levine. They both get involved eventually. Tees turns it around. Riley has had a big second half so far. Hints of kicking in danger from Harding. Decides not to affect the kick, but affect the tackle instead on Gracie Roy, who then goes to suplex.
Yeah, umpire just
he knows all the wrestling terms. So.
Having to step in there, getting a bit physical.
Jason Mitchell's been there, done that. There's nothing to it go. Laura Roy breaks one tackle. Got the kick away. Good pressure from Lunson. Zielinski got a hand. And McDonald sees it over the boundary. But Zielinski made sure that McDonald wasn't in the best marking position.
I don't know if you caught it though, Daniel. Just a shoulder on Laura Roy, just completely barging past her opponent. This win really means something to both sides.
I'm still seeing it as a crosswind towards us. How are you feeling it, Hannah?
It's loosened a little bit. Sorry, we've just got a call from the umpire here. Just going to be a ball in.
Yeah, got to have sympathy for a boundary umpire on a day like this.
But it's hard to play to conditions when it is like this because it's just changing so frequently. It's raining, it's not. The wind is swirling almost. So
the first throw is probably better, but they'll won't keep going. Lilcock, Lunson!
And he's called high. And that's talking back, so they're going to go 50. And she's still not happy about that. She's lucky Tyler Higginson didn't elevate it even further for talking back after talking back, really. And actually, yeah, he's put it pretty much right in front.
Yeah, not quite a Collingwood long 50, but maybe a little over 50. But Greta Lilcock.
Fair enough, though.
Doesn't have a goal yet in this competition. Been around the Morningside club for a few years. It's good enough. Morningside retake the lead.
Got a feel for Lunson. She wouldn't have intended to make it high, but it was well adjudicated, and you can't talk back, especially in a scoreline this tight. Those are the 1%ers, really, is those little moments. And credit to Lilcock for slotting that one really nicely. It's almost more pressure, isn't it? Kicking a goal that close.
Oh, in a low-scoring game.
Coming from a 50.
It's a bit like in soccer, which, of course, is a much lower-scoring game than this. If it's 0-0 and you get a penalty with 5 minutes to go, that feels immense. And in Aussie rules context, this is one of the few situations where a set shot like that would feel that way.
So the 2 goals from Morningside, both set shots.
From about the same position. at that end of the ground. Clancy Dillon, who was near the 50-metre penalty, makes sure she gets the next clearance. It's up towards the 50. Was well chased by Riley. Puts the tackle on McCormick. Morningside have enough numbers around the ball and then just hung off it. Clifford had it at the back of the contest. Schneider created space where there was none. Inside 50, Lewin would have taken a mark on a dry day. Gall underneath and then bursting through the other way was Gracie Roy. There's a case that Gracie Roy's been best on ground today. Zielinski being chased by Graham. Two big-body midfielders doing well. The rain picks up again. Schneider was looking for Gall. Good work at the back from Sleep. Kicked forward, cut off again by Gracie Roy. So far, she's my best on ground.
Yeah, and it was great positioning, just sitting right in front of her opponent. So she was always with safe hands.
Goodwin charges down Howard.
How many times do we see that in a game? Goodwin charging someone down. She's never at all afraid of that ball.
She's had some good games in this ground in a red and black jersey. Never against a red, white and black jersey. Levin in the ruck. She's held her own in the ruck. Particularly up against Teresa Dixon, who played for the Queensland over 35s in Perth last year, coached by our sometime colleague Ash Williamson.
Oh, incredible.
In Perth. But Teresa Dixon showing that if you're good enough, doesn't matter how old you are when you come into senior footy. Levin tackled well by Laura Roy. Struggling to make an impact in an attacking sense, so says, okay, I'll do it defensively.
No, you're right, though. Teresa Dixon's had a great game. She's getting pretty much every first touch.
Another one who's come up from Victoria. Clancy Dillon. Played in both South Australia and Western Australia. Just wrong-footed Millen gets the ball eventually off the rebound of Hess. Clifford's been impressive today. The tackle was early. Coorparoo with a chance to advance. They're 5 points down. Still at least 3 minutes, probably more like 5 or 6 in this quarter. Comes out wide, goes underneath Gall. Gall doing well on the ground. Just a nice little tap kick out to Roberts White when Stanley intervening. He's able to get the ball away from Goodwin. Goodwin regathers. Again, her weaker left foot is not weak. Almost held by Hess. She was being held, wins the free kick. Not a lot to kick through. Coorparoo had a lot of players behind the ball. Outside of the boot, so it goes wide, which is probably not a bad result. Harding chasing. Got there ahead of Howard. Harding goes flying. Sleep. Handballs over the boundary out of bounds. Just a throw-in.
And while she's grabbing the ball, shout out to the ump, Nicola Jack. She's doing a fantastic job. She's probably got the hardest position out there. She's consistently having to ball up against this wind. Not easy.
That's one of her best efforts just then, right on cue.
I saw her getting some support from the sideline. Good to see. She's doing a fantastic job.
Last week was community umpiring round. We can give our umpires love every week. Zenefeta Huggage brought to ground. Was it in the back? No, that's an effective tackle. Laura Roy. But I think Zenefeta Huggage may have gone face first into the Giffen Park turf.
Yeah, she definitely tasted some of that turf just then.
Through the hands of Fretwell. Lewin putting pressure on. Fretwell did well on the ground. Attacked hard from the back, I think, by Howard. It's going to and fro. Morningside have shown they can turn defence into attack very rapidly against good opponents. High contact. Roberts White says, I know, I'll take the free kick, thank you very much. That's right, she said all of that. And on a wet day, a kick that is only slightly imprecise can have that effect.
1D Morningside, 1D, 1D.
Who knows what 1D means? Probably not One Direction.
Thanks, Hannah. That's what makes you beautiful.
that's just what comes to mind.
Laura Roy.
Gen Z.
Now towards Bellinger. Bellinger versus Fretwell. Fretwell has back position, so to speak. Tries to get away from Bellinger. Puts the goose step on, kicks into space. That's pretty much the only option she had. McCormick has come up to right half forward. Teubler chasing through. McCormick beats Teubler. McCormick looking for Bellinger. Lands it on the chest. Superb pass from Lucy McCormick.
So Bellinger, she's got one snap around. It was the other side earlier today. Might have to go the check side. That's tricky from this angle.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the quality of Bellinger's left foot kicks.
Oh, so I was thinking right foot, check side. We'll see.
Hannah was correct with the method of the kick, and Lucy Sheridan was correct with the execution. And Morningside go out to a game-high lead of 11 points.
Completely executed what I was thinking. That is a tricky, tricky angle with a wet, heavy ball. Lucy Bellinger has been doing her kicking practice.
She did begin her career as a forward, and she was brought to the Lions from Glenelg as a forward, and then was a halfback for a long time, although she did score for Yeronga when they last won the premiership in 2020. But late in the third, that is a dagger, and I don't think you can put that down to any kind of wind advantage either.
No, not at all. I think that was just very classy.
So for the first time in this match, a team scores 2 goals in a quarter.
And good mental strength for Morningside as well, because we were chatting about how it did feel like Coorparoo were gaining some of that momentum.
Coorparoo's probably had more inside 50s this quarter, I'd say. Don't have the numbers on me. Oh, well worn by Emily Harding. She looks fine. The ball looks in trouble.
She barely even flinched at that. I think I flinched more than she did.
You and me both. I have no claims to toughness. Well charged. Semi broke the tackle of Gracie Roy, but Roy's tackle was strong enough. And of course, she was largely responsible for Coorparoo only scoring the once in the long period of forward pressure they had. Probably still a minute or two left in this quarter. We don't have access to the real clock, so to speak. Gracie Roy again clears, and again clears into space. Big chase from Brighton. Brighton did well against Zenifeta Huggett. Sorry, Graham, apologies. Graham, back inside, looking for McDonald. It's a 1-on-2. Well held at the back by Teubler. And you can argue that Teubler's been Coorparoo's best today.
And there's, unfortunately, a lot of physicality going on off the ball. As we come to the end of that term, that's disappointing from both sides to see that come out. Possibly a few fines, I don't know, that come out of that. But it really just shows you how intense this battle is and how badly these two sides want this win. So 1-2-8, Coorparoo and Morningside with the lead. 2 goals in a quarter, so 3-1, 9-team. We'll be back after the break for some more of this absolute cracker game. Just one more term to go in this round 5 Bond University QAFLW clash. The Morningside Panthers did a fantastic job to get 2 goals in just the 1 quarter. And Daniel, well, they were pretty special goals as well, weren't they? I want to go back to that check side snap from Lucy Bellinger. How good.
Look, the only thing I can say about Lucy Bellinger is I saw her first hand. She's been a classy player for a long time, and seeing her scoring goals in what, to be fair, is probably the twilight of her career. She's probably got 2 or 3 years left at this level, and she'll probably be good enough to keep playing when she does decide to give it away. But
I hope she hears that, Daniel, and goes, I'm going to prove you wrong and play 5 or 6 more.
Pretty much the reason I said it. Yep. So I know how to reverse psychology. But no, she's been fantastic. Greta Lilcock obviously benefited from the 50, but that was reward for a tremendous amount of work she's been doing. And let's not forget Chelsea Chesterfield, who created space for herself out of very little at the far end. She'll need to do that a couple more times in this quarter, you would think.
Yeah, she will. So again, the conditions just still very windy out here. The rain seems to have settled just a little bit. Certainly not the messy footy that you would normally expect when those windy and rainy conditions start to pick up, though.
Indeed, it's very controlled today, Hannah Davies, and largely these teams have cancelled each other out as they demonstrate for the 240th time this match. And as Hannah noted, just a little bit of feistiness at the end of the quarter as Maddie Goodwin's been moved onto the ball. Couldn't break away on that occasion, but we've seen her do it many times over the years. Turned over, put forward by Goodwin, but immediately charged down. Turned over to Blyton. Turned over again to Harding. McCormick came forward, couldn't hold on to the slippery pill. Lawrence from defence, mown down by Jess Riley. And that's how you make a reputation for yourself in front of the club faithful. Oh, I wish we still had the Tackle of the Week competition.
I could feel her pain from here. That was brutal in the best way.
No, I think brutal's a good word. Hits the deck as Rasheen Chu, rocking what Roy and HG used to refer to as the Crimea War look. Big leap from Dixon. Went to a teammate in Levine, but couldn't go any further. Just out the side of the contest. For a moment, it looked like I think Govan might have been able to get her hands around it. She's now on the near side, not coming out of there. Dry overhead at the moment. But as Hannah said before, it looks like the weather operator's just been pressing buttons at random today and changing things for fun. Blyton brought to ground by Clancy Dillon. Very involved game today, Clancy Dillon. She's been so strong around the contest. Tees over the top. Didn't really go anywhere as Gall had 3 Panthers around her more or less straight away. If Rasheen Chu can hear this, go to the goal square.
I don't know if you saw a couple of weeks ago, Daniel, but one of the AFL teams had a microwave at their game so they could warm up heat packs to keep the players warm on the sideline.
I missed that, but there's a sponsorship opportunity. Back inside to Dixon. Morningside had control of the ball, lost it 3 times. Levine did well. Lilcock, well attacked by Laura Roy, and then Teubler onto her. I think Teubler may be the one who's had the so-called tagging job on Laura Roy. She's done it well.
That's not an easy job.
Well tapped by Dixon. Levine goes more or less underground. Federhagic tried to draw the free kick from McNaughton, didn't work. It was a lovely moment here last year between Coorparoo and Aspley where Federhagic at full pace tripped over Norton, followed the rest of the play, went out of bounds, then went back to check on her.
Gotta love that about this competition.
It's my favourite. Back to Goodwin. Just kicked away. McNaughton thought she was about to hear a whistle for kicking in danger, and when it never came, she thought, okay, I'll take it. Lawrence sweeping.
Also thought.
Mown down by Chesterfield. This is big. This is within Chesterfield's range. She's earned her own free kick, and the wind has died down momentarily. Her goal in the 3rd quarter was her 60th in this competition, which I think puts her in about maybe 25th place on the all-time rankings. And I've got records of over 1,900 players in this competition. Bit of audio disturbance for Chelsea Chesterfield. Distance not a problem. Direction not a problem. This war of Wynnum Road keeps on giving.
So just like that, the margin back between 5, 2-2, 14, 3-1, 19.
Hannah, the reason I'm about to ask you to pick a winner is so that I'm getting in first and hopefully you don't get to return the question, because I've got no idea at all.
I really don't either, and I'm really intrigued to know, like, there's only 4 minutes played in this, so it's far, far too early for Morningside to go defensive. They're going to absolutely keep attacking as they are now. Tricky conditions to bounce in, so it doesn't pay off.
And that was Laura Roy off the chain for probably the first time in this match, and we're 4.5 minutes into the final quarter. But importantly for Morningside, they're 5 points to the good and in their forward half. Knocked inside 50, Goodwin definitely moved onto the ball to put a bit of muscle there. Tries to drive through the legs of Lewin. Hacked forward by Clancy Dillon. Rasheen Chu. Got a legal push from Janae Govan, probably more in the side than the back. McCormick. I don't think I've seen a game where McCormick has been confident enough to push forward into the next line as much as she's been today. It's been sort of the next evolution of, or the next phase in the evolution of Lucy McCormick as a defender, I feel. Lewin in the ruck. Can only find Clancy Dillon. Levine slipped off the tackle but dislodged the ball. Got the handball away to Lewin. Another charge down. That one from Tees. Kicked off the ground by Arthur, who then brings Goodwin to ground. Lewin with the tap. Only Kings behind it. Roberts White tries to get a bit of space. McNaughton hunted her down. Was it over the shoulder? Either way, it was told to play on. I thought the umpire could have made 1 or 2 calls there, but he made a third one. You can possibly hear some of the coaching directions being called out. There's plenty on the line. 4 points, yes. Putting the pressure on the Gold Coast sides, yes. Beating your neighbour, priceless.
Yeah, you really get the sense here that this is another one of those new rivalries that's just going to keep coming back.
Well, sadly, for different reasons, the Coorparoo-Yeronga rivalry's gone a little bit cold. I hope that resurrects. But this has the makings of something big. Clifford is brought down very, very well by Howard.
Do you think it comes into a little bit that there's a fair few Yeronga players on this field today? Former Yeronga players, my apology, but former Yeronga players playing for Morningside now. So maybe they've just taken a little bit of that rivalry and
you
brought
put
it
Yeronga
here.
players on Giffen Park, doesn't matter what jersey they're wearing now. Very good pickup, Hannah Davis. You are well on your way to be able to identify every shoe in this competition.
Oh no, I've got a bit more time on my things to do than that.
One day you'll hit middle age and that'll be your life.
Maybe.
It's played back in the centre square. Technically Coorparoo with a territorial advantage. Comes out the side. The attempt to kick off the ground from Graham was ineffective. And Goodwin, yeah, she fell awkwardly, and she's back up. Once again, Maddie Goodwin's one of those players where you see speed bumps lining up for her autograph. Laura Roy kicks it out of the middle. Up towards Winstanley. Fretwell does well. Got off the boot of Winstanley, and I think she just got hands to it. Should just be, touch, so just a boundary throw-in. Goodwin comes off for a break. Schneider comes back on, as does Chanel Fletcher. I missed a trick by not letting Chanel wear number 5. McNaughton. Howard. No one able to gain possession. Schneider back in the thick of it. Comes all the way back to Lunson. Been impressed with Lunson today. Mainly because she's nominally and usually a winger. I haven't seen her. The plays often come out to her. And she's been equal to the task pretty much every time. Knocked away from Howard cleverly by Tees. Well done by Lunson at the bottom of the pack. Roberts White fighting hard. Then was brought down by 3 players. Howard, Levine, with Lewin watching over, giving her approval. Howard over the top. Remember, Morningside with a 5-point lead. Isla Feta-Huggage goes check side, was looking for Fletcher. Missed her. McCormick. Wrestled off it by Govan. Got some kind of boot to it. Fletcher. That was almost like a nature doctor entry. Fletcher was standing still, and the Predators just came in from 3 angles. I spared you my David Attenborough impersonation. Laura Roy somehow slipped it away from Riley's tackle. Up towards McDonald. Landed in space. Fretwell. Not the kick she wanted. Got away from Dixon. Messy ball. Dixon back to Lewin. Lewin, that'll go out of bounds. Doesn't matter if it's on the full or not.
Something to note, Daniel, Morningside, we questioned whether they would go a little bit more defensive heavy given they've got the lead. They're currently just sitting with a spare in their defence.
Good pickup.
So clearly been a decision made there.
As Gracie Roy nearly gives Emily on camera her first disposal for the day.
Yeah, it can be a little bit risky, can't it, when you opt to go for a more defensive structure for that final term.
Now there was push. Oh, so Janae Govan put her hands up in the other player's back before she took the mark, and the umpire spotted it. It's Gracie Roy who drew the free kick. Off the ground from Arthur, through to Lewin, knocked away from her. There have been so few clean marks in this game. The stats will be interesting to see. Teubler attacking again. That number 33 jersey has been turning up everywhere today. And yes, to her students, Mrs. Teubler knows what she's doing on a footy field. Riley inside 50, over the top of the Govan-Roy battle. Found Govan. Was tackled by Chu. Spectacular flip. Wasn't deliberate. I have a feeling that Chesterfield just came over the top and the legs were taken out of her control.
So Chu is that spare. She's just floating in the back space.
I don't know if what I'm about to say will make sense, but because Chu is so quick, she can almost be what you call an attacking defensive spare. And if she gets the ball, she may be able to turn the attack around very, very quickly. Clifford pulled off it. Umpires allowing play to go on, which is fine. Millen. Didn't look like a handball, but play continues. Lunson forward. Cut off. Went to Teresa Dixon. Harding. Very skillfully picked up. Isla Feta-Huggage. Turns it into a 50-50 ball. Hits the ground. Lunson. Handball forward. Was looking for Chesterfield. Not able to bring it to hand, so she did the next best thing and bring the opponent to ground. Maybe 6-7 minutes to go. Back to Millen. Struggling to get onto it. Graham did well on the ground. Handballed through. All the way back to Feta-Huggage. Got some kind of kick away. Not convincing. McCormick. Coorparoo got it forward. Went to Dixon at the back. Told the play on, didn't go 15. That's the correct decision. Back out to Win Stanley. They did go 15. Had a chance to settle. Chose to move quickly instead. Playing for territory. Zielinski working well. Provided a shepherd for Fretwell. Inside to Clancy Dillon. Holds the slippery ball when it was important. At 45-degree kick. Haven't seen a lot today. Goes to Govan, goal side. Janae Govan! Misses to the left. Was nearly goal 105 for her. Reduces the gap to 4.
Coorparoo just setting up a bit of a wall here at the back. And it worked really nicely before, just keeping it within their 50 nearly.
Teubler spoiled Lewin, nearly got her own mark. Kick wasn't great, that'll just be a boundary throwing. Just count the shins of Lawrence. Noted last week we've had 10 shark stoushes now, but only one of them's been decided by single digits. We haven't really had a classic shark stoush yet. This is our first War of Wynnum Road, and we're getting a classic right up first.
Setting the standard pretty high.
Don't know if that name's going to stick, but I needed something.
No, I like it.
You're welcome. It's about halfway. Clancy Dillon. That was nearly a beautiful mark at foot level. from Hess. Comes back to Zielinski. Zielinski from a long way out. That's not her normal kick. Goes out to the right. Sleep. Sleep thumps it back. Well, we've seen her speed. Tries to get away from McKinless. Does well. The support eventually comes in. Blyton. And Jason Mitchell saw early. He thought, no, I know how this is going to end. Let's keep some time in the game. Dixon probably got the better of tees in the ruck contest the longer this match has gone on. Bellinger just fumbling at the crucial moment, but when you've got players breathing down your neck as tight as it has been in this game, every moment's a crucial moment. Roberts-White took a bit long. Arthur affected the tackle. And Lilcock just unable to keep it in, or she could have been away. You feel that a goal to Morningside would finish this off. A goal to Coorparoo would give us a nail-biting last couple of minutes.
It would, and I really, for Morningside's sake, hope they just take a few more risks now and try and bring it down as quickly as they can. Coorparoo's defenders, though, working absolutely overtime to give themselves as much of a chance as possible, but 15 minutes played now. There's still time.
These two teams did have the best two defensive records in the entire comp. That's including Bond and Southport coming into today's game. I dare say it may still be the case at the end of this game. And of course, you can watch all of those other scores right where you are now on the official AFLQ YouTube channel. In fact, there's two games that have just started. Stay with this game. Do not go anywhere. Watch those during a boring work meeting.
Good advice from you, Daniel.
I'm here for the office workers. Goodwin with the free kick. Right half back. Through the hands of Millen. Chu. Did well to mark. Not as well with the kick. McKinless, who captains the Morningside club back in the QAFLW days. Plenty of experience and composure. Good work from Graham. Kicked away to Three Kings. Zina Federhagic just couldn't get her hands around the ball. Ran into Courtney McDonald. How important is that tackle going to be in the final wash-up? Flirting with a 50.
Just came onto field and already making an impact. And that's why she's captain.
McDonald onto the edge of the 50 was their early contact. Not seen that way. Levine took a long time and was brought down by Harding. Howard going inside 50. Regathered 3 times. Got it forward to Blyton. And I think that's Bellinger brought to ground.
17 played now. You'd have to think Morningside are maybe just doing enough to hold on to this lead.
Well, if you're a coach, the best thing you want is a goal. The second best thing you want is a forward 50 presence. Damien Richards will take it.
And they've had to work really hard to get it out of Coorparoo's 50. It's probably spent most of its time in there.
Just the one goal in this quarter, that being the Chelsea-Chesterfield. That was 11 minutes ago. Laura Roy centres the ball. McNaughton looking for it. Squeezed out the wrong way for her on the ground. Bellinger picks up. Morningside have done it! The second team in Bond University QAFLW history to win their first 5 matches. And you could argue that they weren't expected to win most of them. Morningside 3-1-19 have defeated Coorparoo 2-3-15, and the new rivalry is born.
I know it's only round 5, Daniel, but you just got to feel that, got goosebumps now, just that special feeling with what is building here at Morningside. I know they're celebrating, it's round 5, but they've got plenty of reasons to. We said, you know, the body language, they were just composed, they didn't panic, and I really feel like a lot of their players just came on and made impact exactly when they needed to.
Couldn't agree more, Hannah. Plenty of heroes on each side. We'll go through those soon. Just to mention the goal scorers, both of Coorparoo's goals scored by Chelsea Chesterfield. For Morningside, it was one to Greta Lilcock and 2 expert set shots from Lucy Bellinger.
Yeah, it was a fantastic effort, especially to get those set shots in slippery conditions can be a little bit tricky. Full credit. But, you know, Coorparoo as well, I'm very excited to watch them rematch later on in this season because there's a lot there's a lot on the line between these two sides.
What price a Coorparoo Morningside finals match at some point this year?
I would love to see
likely.
that.
In terms of best players, just to wrap up, I've pretty much said it during the contest, but I thought Gracie Roy's work, she's been overshadowed by her sister in the last few weeks. Today, she wasn't given the space to move. She simply found the space to move, and her clearances from the back and her ability to take the ball from no space to space, I thought was superb. She's my best on ground. For the University of Queensland, I thought Mia Teubler, partly for the run with role that she played on Laura Roy, but she created herself. Again, she was someone who was able to get the ball in tight situations and give Coorparoo a chance to push forward. So they're my two.
Yeah, I agree. And for Coorparoo, I think defensively they had some real standouts today. I thought the way Isla Federhugic, Abby Lunson and Maddie Goodwin all kind of worked in together to bring that real physical presence, I thought was fantastic. But yeah, the Panthers, well, there were so many standouts. Rosie Chu, I mean, she really put her body on the line, you know, coming off with the bleeding head, just patched it up, straight back on and back into the contest like nothing had happened. Lealcock as well, you know, she made a really early impact and it forced them to tag her. Bellinger, of course, the two set shots. I mean, the check side. I can't talk about it enough. I'm going to go watch the replay. Just incredible. Teresa Dixon and Ruck as well. Like, she was just incredibly strong. Really great positioning of the clearances. Yeah, great all-round performance from them. And that brings us to the end of this broadcast. Thank you so much for joining us here at the Bond University QAFLW. You can catch all the replays on the AFL Queensland YouTube channel and, of course, stay up to date with results all across the league on our Facebook and Instagram sites. It's been my pleasure to have you here with us today. I'm Hannah Davies and Daniel Viles. We'll catch you next week.